The Cardinal fans continue to show up at Busch Stadium. It's the site of Game 2 of a 4-game series with the Los Angeles Dodgers here tonight. Rick Horton with Al Raboski, and these two franchises, maybe the best in all of baseball, certainly in the National League, and they go at it in this series, and this may be the marquee pitching matchup of the series.
Clayton Kershaw will be on the mound for the Dodgers, the reigning Cy Young Award winner. He threw a shutout against the Cardinals earlier this year, and he has 15 consecutive scoreless innings against the Redbirds. On the other side, we feel pretty good about Adam Wainwright. It's been a while, but he has 14 consecutive scoreless innings against the Dodgers here in St. Louis.
So it's Kershaw and Wainwright in Game 2 here from Busch. Matt Holliday will be in left field. We'll focus on the Cardinal All-Star when we come back. Against the Phillies. He showed his aggressive style of play, and Holliday has been a power bat and an average bat in the middle of the Cardinals lineup ever since. In fact, Holliday, one of 4 players in the National League with a .315 average, 75 home runs or more, and 255 RBIs or more since that date 3 years ago. Jay Randolph's going to have more on Matt Holliday and his link to the greatest Cardinal of them all. That's next on Fox Sports Midwest. his Cardinal debut exactly 3 years ago today, but it hasn't mattered what uniform he's worn. He's done well against the Dodgers. But there's only one man Dodger Nation truly feared. Here's Jay Randolph.
20 years ago, Stan Musial was inducted into the Brooklyn Dodgers Hall of Fame. Although Stan played his entire career for the St. Louis Cardinals, it was the fans at Ebbets Field who dubbed him the man. Musial's hitting prowess in Brooklyn was legendary, and even the most hardcore Dodger fans came to admire the good-natured slugger. According to the late great Hall of Fame sports writer Bob Bragg, one day at Ebbets Field he heard Brooklyn fans begin to bemoan their fate by saying, "Uh-oh, here comes that man again. Here comes that man again." Eventually, that man became the man, and one of baseball's most famous monikers was born. No player had more at-bats against the Dodgers than Musial. No opponent has ever had a higher average, RBI total, or slugging percentage against the Dodgers than Stan. Musial wasn't a big guy. He was just shy of 6 feet tall and 175 pounds. But his unusual batting stance allowed him to effectively guard the plate, and he could uncoil and crack line drives with regularity. Matt Holliday is a big guy. He's 6'4", 235 pounds, and swings the bat as hard as anyone in the history of the game. Holliday, like Musial, terrorizes the Dodgers. During his years with the Rockies, Holliday feasted on Dodger pitching. He hit over .350 against them over the first 5 years of his career. Now as a Cardinal, he continues his dominance. He has the highest qualifying average against the Dodgers among all active players. Dodger pitcher Preacher Rowe, when asked how he pitched to Musial, once said, "I throw him 4 wide ones, and then I try to pick him off first base." Maybe the Dodgers should consider doing the same with Holliday.
Awaiting the first pitch between the Dodgers and the Cardinals here tonight. Another warm one and a good pitching matchup. Kershaw and Wainwright. Wainwright will go to work when we come back. By a reminder from Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Designate a driver. By your Mid-America Chevy dealers, the #1 selling brand in St. Louis. Find us at stlchevy.com. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake, just no equal. Looks a little like Kyle McClellan grilling up some hot dogs outside Busch Stadium. Cardinal fans showing up, some Dodger fans as well. Game 2 of the 4-game series with Los Angeles, and it is smoking again in downtown St. Louis. Just 3 umpires here at game time. Eric Cooper is been given the day off, and John Tumpane has been called upon to replace him, but he's having some travel issues and may come a bit late, but we'll deal with this ball game with 3 umpires for at least the beginning, and they'll find a way to get that done. And the umpires have received the lineup cards at home plate, and the Cardinals take the field. Southwest Airlines brings you the Dodgers batting order. Jerry Hairston Jr. will play third and lead off for the Dodgers. Mark Ellis is the second baseman. Matt Kemp will be in center field, and he'll bat third. He's been very good since coming off the disabled list. Andre Ethier came off that disabled list on the same day. He's going to be in right field. He's a very, very good hitter. He bats fourth. James Loney, the first baseman. Juan Rivera in left. Luis Cruz, a home run here yesterday, will play short and bat seventh. Matt Trainer will catch, and Clayton Kershaw will pitch and bat ninth for the Dodgers. And the Cardinals go with, I guess we can still call him our ace, not having his best year, but still a guy that you just count on start after start, Adam Wainwright.
Have great confidence in Adam. He has lost his last 2 starts. He has pitched very well against the Dodgers, particularly here in St. Louis. 2-1, ERA under 1 in 3 career starts, and he's working on 14 scoreless innings here at home against LA.
The defense behind Wainwright, Holliday, Beltran, and Craig in the outfield, left to right. Freeze, Furcal, Descalzo, and Berkman. Descalzo, the only lefty in the lineup. He'll play second. Yadier Molina will catch. Wainwright pitches. Our Dobbs Cardinals defense. Mike Matheny, many decisions ahead for him, and the ones that he seems to be dealing with the most of late is where to put his bats in this lineup. He has a lot of different choices to make. Somebody's going to have to sit, and it's John Jay and Skip Schumacher for game 2.
Very easy for Mike to sit John Jay last night with his lack of success against Billingsley, and the same thing with Schumacher against Kershaw.
Temperature at game time 103, but who's counting? Ground ball to the left side, pass Freeze, long throw for Furcal in the dirt, and Berkman not able to scoop it.
Just look at the body language for Berkman. He knows he should have had that ball. Let's see how low it is. It's in the glove. That's an error on Berkman, in my mind.
No doubt.
You got to stretch out and catch that ball. It's in the glove. He just drops it, and not the start we were hoping for.
It is an error on Lance Berkman. An error by Lance. The first game of this series led to 3, or at least helped lead to 3 Dodger runs in the second. Ground ball foul. Mark Ellis at the plate.
I remember the last time Wainwright pitched, he had 3 errors in the first inning behind him. Milwaukee scored 4 runs, only 1 was earned. That's all he gave up, but it was enough for him to be a loser. He's got the least amount of run support of any Cardinal starter this year.
That fastball rides up and in on Ellis. Watch out.
Been away from that ball. Tardy with a spin.
Thinking the same thing. Ground ball to third. Freese has it. Tough play on to second for one. And not in time at first base. Nice play by David Freese. Not an easy play. And a good turn by Descalzo, but ball not hit hard enough. And was not hit right at David Freese, so very difficult to turn to.
He took a step or two towards the bag and then kind of lost his balance. You'll see it right here. So goes down on a knee, pushed himself up, and then the off-balance throw didn't have a lot behind it, and that allowed Ellis to beat it out at first. Still a very nice play by David Freese.
He really has improved defensively, and I know that he would say that that was a good part of his game initially, but I just see much better hands, much more confidence.
I don't think he was that bad at third base. I think last year when he was taken out late in ball games for defense was just to try and protect him and his surgically repaired ankles. But now he's healthy, and you don't see them take him out for defense anymore.
We've really noticed that he goes on that ball, that the bunt, maybe the swinging roller. He just has really gotten good at that, coming in on that. 1-1 to Kemp.
Dodgers 53 and 44, and where would they be if Matt Kemp didn't miss a combined 51 games with 2 stints on the disabled list with the same hamstring problem?
Fly ball to center. Fairly deep. Beltran playing center tonight. No problem with that one. Kemp did not miss that pitch by very much.
Jay, who's been swinging a real hot bat, he gets the day off today with the left-hander Kershaw on the mound, but Jay's been hitting lefties pretty well, actually better than right-handers right now. But she said somebody has to sit, and it just makes your bench that much stronger late in the game.
Andre Ethier, very good hitter, 25 doubles on the season. And he's working on a 9-game hitting streak. Interesting that Ethier strikes out as much as he does. He's such a good hitter. And you think of him as really a gap hitter more than a big power hitter that just tries to drive the ball. But he has 76 strikeouts on the season. Very surprised to see that.
And I'm a little surprised to see him under 300, just to further your point. But maybe trying to do too much when Kemp was out, expanded his zone. Good pitch by Wainwright, doesn't get a call.
Don Mattingly, 14 years as a New York Yankee, 307 career batting average.
Donnie ball game.
I would say the best young hitter that I've ever seen at the age of 19 and 20.
You see him in the minor leagues?
I did.
Yeah.
I believe he was hitting 380, 390 in A ball, and there was just no way to get him out. Ball jumped off his bat, had good plate coverage, could hit the all field, and he had the whole package.
That reminded me of the nice piece that Jay Randolph narrated, talking about Stan Musial. Preacher Rose said, throw him 4 wide pitches, then try to pick him off first.
I like that. Wainwright set. Curveball is offered at by Ethier. He doesn't think so. It doesn't matter. It's strike 3. First one for Wainwright. For call, Craig and Holliday when we come back. Back to pitchers duel here in downtown St. Louis. Cardinals line up their first shot at Clayton Kershaw, Rafael Furcal, Alan Craig, and Holliday. 1, 2, 3, followed by Beltran, Freeze, and Molina in the middle. Berkman, Descalzo, and Wainwright. Our Southwest Airlines Cardinals batting order. Kershaw, very good numbers, brought to you by Enterprise Bank and Trust. And his first pitch is high and away.
Yeah, obviously not having the season he had a year ago, but he was the Triple Crown winner in the National League, tied with wins.
Fly ball to left. Rivera comes in hard to make the play. So Furcal, first ball swinging again, as he did in game 1. Rivera, Kemp, and Ethier are in the outfield. Kemp can really go get him. Mark Ellis, very smooth fielder at second base. Kershaw and Matt Trainer, the battery, are Dodgers defense here tonight.
Kershaw tied Kennedy for the league lead in wins. He led in ERA and strikeouts, the Triple Crown. Triple Crown of pitching.
He has a bit of a herky-jerky motion, too.
Yes, he does. Made his major league debut against St. Louis. That was out in Dodger Stadium and has pitched well since. It was back on May 25th, 2008. Lifetime 4-2 with a 2.75 in 9 starts against the Cardinals, and very good here at Busch Stadium.
Ground ball to the left side. Cruz has it. Low throw, handled by Loney. So 2 quick outs for the Cardinals here in the first. That brings in the left fielder, Matt Holliday.
Loney with the soft hands. Throw was bounced far enough out there so he could get a true hop.
Fastball, strike 1 to Holliday. Fastball, curve, slider change for Clayton Kershaw.
Shutout against the Redbirds in May out at Dodger Stadium. 6 hits allowed in that game. Holliday's hit him well.
Couple of Oklahoma kids.
Holliday's hit Kershaw well, and Matt Kemp has had his problems against Wainwright. Hope that continues.
Wainwright is all business when he pitches, isn't he?
Nice to have fun when he's not pitching, but he knows when to flip the switch.
And even his buddy Jake Westbrook leaving him alone. He said the general rule of thumb is speak when spoken to for that day's starting pitcher.
It's always interesting. You know, some guys just, like you say, don't mess with them. Don't even go up and say hello to them. Ask them how they feel. And there's other starters that are very engaging.
John Tudor was engaging, of all people. The cantankerous John Tudor. 3-2. Fly ball to right. Kershaw. 1-2-3, bottom of the first. We may indeed have a pitcher's duel here tonight. Field, just head to StubHub, where it's easy to find the seats you want to see the Cardinals in action all season long. StubHub is the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the St. Louis Cardinals. First game, perhaps? I mean, the one on the right? I know somebody's happy here at the ballpark.
Dad or grandpa is very happy.
Loney, Rivera, and Cruz for the Dodgers here in the second. Loney has hit Wainwright well. 400 batting average. His number's a bit disappointing when you look at really the career of Loney. I think the Dodgers expected a little more pop. They may get it at some point, but just 2 home runs at first base. Really a power position. You want more production there.
I think they've almost lost their patience with him. And we're talking about with the trade deadline. Some people say they're looking for pitching help. I think they should look for impact bats.
Loney is jammed. David Freese backpedaling, retires him. You look at Wainwright, and we saw some numbers before the game, Al, that were pretty amazing about Wainwright and just how much he struggles on the very first pitch. National League is batting .422 against Wainwright on the first pitch he throws.
When you hear that, then you can't criticize a player for jumping on the first pitch.
Absolutely. And to contrast that, as he gets away with that first pitch, but the count on 3-2 is just 171.
I think that would be much higher.
Big curveball, swing and a miss by Rivera. Wainwright ahead of the Dodger left fielder. Rivera 0 for 3 last night.
After that swing, take your time and reset, because obviously you were.
Cutter, not much better. 3 different pitches from Wainwright: the fastball, the curveball, and then this cutter finishes them off.
We talked about how early in the season, and see the downward tilt, the break running all the way to the corner and out of the strike zone. That pitch, the cutter, probably was more betraying Wainwright more than any other pitch. It's been a lot more consistent.
And we know our friend Steve Lyons, who we had a chance to visit with prior to the game and does the games for the Dodgers. I know what he's saying in their booth right now. That's a slider. That's not a cutter. That's a bullet. Freese has it. Throws out Cruz. 1-2-3 inning for Wainwright. Beltran hits next. The mission continues on a veteran-led service project in Belleville on August 18th. It's expected to be the largest project yet from the Summer Service Slam campaign. And we need your help. Reserve your spot online at missioncontinues.org. Game time temperatures 103 degrees here at Busch Stadium. Very good pitching matchup. Clayton Kershaw. Off-speed pitch, strike one to Carlos Beltran.
Supposed to be 107 tomorrow. A little bit of relief on Thursday.
And the crowd still showing up, even with the heat. 41,000 or more. That's really been the average over the last 14 home games, with the average temperature at 97.
Beltran has struggled against Kershaw, but he's had back-to-back home run games.
Another good off-speed pitch. The changeup strikes out Beltran. That's the first for Kershaw. And he, like Wainwright, can really pile up the strikeouts. Kershaw has a ton of strikeouts this year, and he averages about one an inning in his career.
133 this year and had 248 to lead the league a year ago.
David Freese, 10 for his last 18, takes strike one on the corner. Lowest ERA since 2008 in MLB. You might recognize two faces on there.
Kershaw and Wainwright, both on that list. Kershaw only 24 years of age, but he has really got his act together. Wainwright does too, but both of them understand the responsibilities of a professional, both on and off the field. Kershaw in the offseason builds orphanages in Africa.
Really liked his off-speed pitches in the early going. Wainwright, 30 years of age. Kershaw, just 24. It's about the sixth changeup we've seen from Kershaw. I don't recall him throwing quite so many.
You're right, but I guess in his mind he's gone 16 1/3 scoreless innings. Feel he has to change things around. I don't know why.
It's working. 5 straight.
Move inside a little bit and try to pull it. Got on top of it, no ground ball.
Molina has had a very good year offensively. 309, 15 home runs is a career high, 49 RBIs, and we know how good he's been with runners in scoring position.
We already know how good he is defensively, so really putting things together, a complete package.
High strike. Kershaw, an all-star for the second straight season. Cy Young Award winner a year ago. Jams Yachty on the 0-2 pitch and fouls that back. Attacks that strike zone, doesn't he?
Why not? When you have good stuff, go out and just use it.
The 0-2 is a curveball, strike 3. Yachty doesn't like the call, but a second strikeout for Kershaw. 6 straight. Nothing but zeros so far. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by the new wireless receiver from AT&T U-verse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. MyKiaSt.Louis.com. And get the All-American Jack Combo at Jack in the Box. It's a no-nonsense burger with fries and a drink for only $4.99, plus tax at participating stores. Adam Wainwright back to work, top of the third inning. He'll have 8, 9, and 1. Matt Trainer, 36-year-old catcher, has bounced around a bit. He's behind the plate tonight, working with the left-hander Kershaw.
Matt Trainer has to take a back seat to his celebrity wife. Misty May Trainer, two-time gold medal winner in volleyball, beach volleyball in 04 and 08. And she must have a great sense of humor, because a couple times she set up her husband. One time he went out for a first pitch ceremony and she threw the pitch. He didn't know anything about it. And another time she put on I think I may have the facts wrong a little bit, but one of the sausage races someplace, and she dressed up in one.
How about that?
Sausage races, and he didn't have any idea about that either.
The wealth of your knowledge, Al, I just can't fathom it. Last night you knew about the Bachelorette, and now you knew about that.
That's your pads on now.
Call third strike. Very close pitch. May have gone Wainwright's way.
Not two great pitchers, and these umpires, I'm sure, are thinking that they're going to be around the plate and they're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. And why not have a generous strike zone for him?
DJ Rayburn behind the plate. Crew chief is Jeff Kellogg. He's the umpire at first base. And again, our fourth umpire is en route, as Eric Cooper, for some reason we've not heard yet, has not been able to be here at the ballpark tonight. So Marty Foster, the third base umpire, and right now nobody at second.
And it was our impression that this umpiring crew, including Eric Cooper, visited one of the local children's hospitals. Recognize them for that.
Curveball grounded foul.
And I guess it's an indictment on our airport. There's so few flights.
Hasn't made it yet. So far the pitchers haven't needed
another
the guy
umpire
at second base. Curveball waved at by Kershaw, batting just 138. No chance on the Wainwright breaking pitch. Follow Fox Sports Midwest coverage of the Cardinals with MLB.com at Bat 12 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at Bat to 31826 or visit Cardinals.com for details. Wainwright working up a sweat already. Not that difficult here at the ballpark.
Be a little worried about someone that couldn't work up.
Ooh. Wait till August.
Something be wrong.
What's August going to be like?
Dog days. Might come up with a new name for these days.
Right. Jerry Hairston Jr. reached on an error in the first inning.
But Rick, this is St. Louis, and it is the middle of summer.
What do we expect?
That's exactly right.
Some guys here at the ballpark that I've seen, and you may have seen some others that have dealt with some warm summer days here at Busch Stadium wearing the birds on the bat. Andy Van Slyke is here with his wife Lori. Their son, of course, has been up a couple of times. Scott with the Dodgers. Tom Lawless here at the ballpark with Cheryl. And I saw Jason Simon Tachi here as well. Chris Carpenter's here at the ballpark, and I don't mean the current Chris Carpenter.
He's going to be on the cat fight tomorrow.
That's right.
Must be a big extravaganza because Jim needed the day off to prepare for the cat fight.
Yes. And of course, I saw Cal Eldred here, but we always see him.
Part of our crew. I will say this, that even though it is extremely hot and dangerous temperatures, the humidity has been down.
Agreed. This one laced down the right field line, and it's fair. Our game's first hit. Craig runs it down, but a two-out double for Jerry Hairston Jr. And Scott Cooper, former Cardinal, wants to remind folks that July 31st through August 1st, the St. Louis Gamers will be doing their tryouts. Go to stlgamers.net to get the tryout links. Scott Cooper and Matt Whiteside do a great job with that club.
Got that ball up a little bit. Right-handed hitter hits it just inside the right field line. No way to defend that, but get the next hitter out.
Curveball hung a bit. Ellis missed it. Reached on a fielder's choice. Really a steady player, Mark Ellis. Very good defensively.
Right. Very good defensive player. I think most people would say he's their third best player. Kemp, Ethier, and Ellis. Disappointed in Loney and Uribe. Just expected him to hit some home runs for him, and they haven't gotten much for him, under 200, and I think 2 home runs. Signed him from the hated Giants, if you're a Dodger fan.
The 0-2. Curveball hit hard for Call has it on one hop, and he throws out Ellis. Nice play by Rafi. This MLB on Fox season, Fox Sports is proud to support Boys and Girls Club of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. To learn more, please visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. Speaking of great Cardinals, there's another one at the house. Hall of Famer Whitey Herzog. I had not seen him here yet.
Yeah, Whitey looks great. Now we got our fourth umpire. Trumpaine? John Trumpaine?
Trumpaine, yes.
It's the first time we've ever heard that name. Looks like he's all smiles. He's happy to be here. Probably can't believe they didn't hold up the game for him.
I'm sure he's getting a little ribbing from somebody. And I'm sure it wasn't his fault that he's shown up late.
Oh.
Late call, but he made it.
It's like players, when they get called up to the big leagues, they're here immediately. Sometimes it takes them a while to go down, but not to come up. And you would have to assume that is a vacation ump.
Lance Berkman. Getting down in the lineup tonight.
Oh.
And that pitch gets him.
Probably right on the knee.
It was a curveball, so you know it wasn't a hard pitch velocity wise, but it obviously got him in the wrong spot.
Right on the knee. Try and walk it off, but that's just doesn't. You could say it's not a high velocity, but 84 miles an hour still is going to bite you when right on the bone on bone, that right kneecap.
You're really just collapsing there at home plate. That knee just gave.
No, it was the left one that he had the surgery on this last time, right? But it's, but he's had both of his knees surgically repaired over the years.
Trying to walk it off. Chris Conroy to his left, Mike Matheny to his right.
It was the right knee that he had the surgery on. So right there, he's probably wondering, what do I have to do? He had the injury, or a very innocent stretch in Dodger Stadium where he tore the meniscus and had to have it surgically repaired. And now to get hit on that same knee right on the kneecap. He's going to stay in there, but he's not moving real well.
He'll be station to station for sure. And this happened against the Dodgers in LA. That's where the knee gets hurt first, and there you go. Same knee.
Cardinals were in that stretch where they lost 5 players in 7 days. Healthier now than they've been all season, even with Kyle McClellan out for the year and Carpenter out for the year. Hopefully Garcia will come back in August.
That would be a big boost, wouldn't it?
He's healthy, yes.
Like making a trade. Fastball high to Descalzo, 1-1.
Matt Carpenter stretch just in case. I almost think they want him to be moving a little bit better by the end of this inning in order to take him out.
I think you're right.
Decision for Mike Matheny. Do you keep your veteran in or not? And he's said a number of times that he has to make decisions for people because they're not going to fully be honest with him. And you wouldn't expect him to be. I mean, they're honest, yes, that's not the right word, but you're not going to be able to think objectively about whether or not it's appropriate to stay in the game or not, and that's something that the manager has to do for him.
Well, Ricky, it's a catch-22. You know, you ask any player, but you know what a veteran, and especially a guy with the character of Carpenter, what he's or Berkman, what he's going to say, but
line drive, watch out, base hit, right up the box. Berkman hobbles into second base. Descalzo continues to hit left-handed pitching very, very well. 325 on the season. And that was a bullet.
And I wonder if Oquendo is going to go out here and just ask Berkman, can you continue? Be honest. Your runs are going to be at a premium. There's nobody out. Nothing ball game.
I think he's trying to tell him to get out of this game.
I think he is too. I really do, because he saw him just, you say, almost limp into second base, and now Mike Matheny's going to call him out, bring him in, and get a little attention, get some ice on that, and it's probably the right thing to do.
Well, he really hobbled into second base, and now he's going to hobble into the dugout. Here's Berkman running, and that's
full
not
speed.
healthy enough, and you're going to hurt a hip or a hamstring or something else if you try to run like that for the rest of the game. So Berkman's out of the ball game. Matt Carpenter replaces him.
Now, Ricky, it's the old story. A manager comes out and asks a pitcher late in the ball game, well, how do you feel?
Yeah.
Well, if you are really, really honest and you say, okay, I'm through, they take you out and the reliever comes in and gives it up, then they're mad at you. And if you go out there and say, no, I can gut my way through it, and you give it up, then they're mad at you too. So you got to be really careful.
Bunting situation for Wainwright. He takes strike one at the knees.
Kershaw threw that pitch with his shortstop standing at second base trying to wait for a pickoff.
I learned what you said from Dave LaPointe, who was part of the '82 Cardinals team. In fact, made a great contribution to that team and will be back for the reunion in August. He said, and he would say to every one of his pitching coaches, don't ever ask me how I feel, because I'm going to lie to you. If you don't know how I feel, don't ask. You got to guess.
That's why most good managers, they'll make that decision for you. They won't ask you. They may come out and pat you on the back, say, I believe in you. But most of the time they come out there is take you out.
One run can make a big difference in this game.
No doubt. That's why you had to make the pinch runner change. And we talk about it all the time that for whatever reason, Wainwright not swinging the bat to his capability. This year he's really struggled, just 3 for 38, but in his career he's over 200 with 5 career home runs.
This bunt should be angled towards the third baseman. Kershaw has it. Throws out Wainwright, and Adam does his job. Very nice.
I just wonder, you want to get it by the pitcher. Run it hard enough down the third base line to get by the pitcher and make the third baseman field it. Kershaw fielded that ball. Harrison, the third baseman, got back in case he wanted to throw it to third, and Matta had a play there, but they had a sure out at first.
Berkman for sure would have been out at third.
Oh.
And then
might turn that into a double play.
Rafael Furcal, former Dodger, has a chance to put the Cardinals on the board here in the third.
Dodgers knew when Furcal is healthy what an elite player he is. He just was injured a lot with LA. Leads National League leadoff men in RBIs, but he hasn't had any success against Kershaw. Kershaw knows him, and he knows how good he is, and maybe he has to trick himself.
Infield back. Dodgers conceding a run. Ground ball to third on contact. Carpenter gets in a rundown, and this is what you do. You run them all the way back.
Nobody at first base, so Furcal, who took a wide turn, Ethier sneaking in behind him, but there was nobody at first base, so, and if he would have gone on to second, it would have been a double play.
Cardinals had this play yesterday, and Yadier threw it with 2 runners at third base, and
the batter got to second base and just absolutely boxed it.
Our Toyota keys to the game. Cardinals with runners in scoring position. Craig, Molina, and Beltran have all been very effective, and the highest average of all is the man at the plate, Alan Craig.
And he's 4 for 9 with a home run against Kershaw with 5 runs batted in. It's the same the rest of his teammates against Kershaw. 5 RBIs.
Ground ball to the left side. Cruz throws out Craig, and Kershaw pitches around a couple of Cardinals base runners. No score.
Missouri-grown watermelon, because the prime farmland in the Boot Hill produces some of the most flavorful melons available. Stop by your neighborhood Schnucks to pick up a classic summertime treat. Sweet and juicy fresh watermelon. Schnucks brings you the best of the local harvest. That's the Schnucks difference.
Not much difference in this ball game. No runs, 1 hit for the Dodgers. No runs, 1 hit for St. Louis. The Cardinals have the game's error. That was Lance Berkman, who's been removed after getting hit on the right knee with a pitch inadvertently by Clayton Kershaw. Matt Carpenter has replaced him at first base. Wainwright has the middle of the Dodgers order here in the 4th inning.
Wainwright's been very good in his career, retiring Kemp. And when you can do that, add maybe Ethier to it, you know, you're going to have a very low run total against you.
Kemp just 2 for 15 against Wainwright. You know, you talk about the Cardinals injuries, but the Dodgers for such a long period having both Ethier and Kemp out of the lineup, you're talking about most of your offense.
Well, they had Kemp out for a combined 51 games. Ethier was just out for like a 2-week period. But you're right. 3 and 4 in the order. I was noticing that Harrison Jr., who's leading off this game, 10 times this season, Harrison is batted 3rd or 4th. It shows you how maybe anemic their lineup can be at times without these 2 big sluggers.
The 2-1 from Wainwright is a high strike, 2-2. Kemp hit .324 a year ago with 39 home runs, 126 RBIs, and many would say that he could have been the National League MVP.
And then in April, they thought he was going to wrap up the MVP this year. But he actually had won the Player of the Week 3 straight weeks. The last week of the season last year, and then the first 2 weeks in April. He was the Player of the Month for April in the National League. He had a franchise record 12 home runs in April.
Count is full. Kemp spoils it. Dodgers are on a very long and arduous 10-game road trip that started out in New York. Then they come to St. Louis. Then they go to San Francisco. How about that for some mileage? 10-game trip, but so far they're 4-0 on the trip. They've won 5 straight. Popped up on the right side. Carpenter makes the play. Our carsoup.com email the booth question comes from Chris in South City. As a Cardinals pitcher, we've been talking about the pitching Triple Crown. Has a Cardinals pitcher ever won it? That's a great question.
Kershaw won the Triple Crown last year, and the Dodgers have had 3 different pitchers. This is last year, career years for our 2 starters. Last year, obviously, was Kershaw, as he was the Cy Young Award winner. And then in 2010, Wainwright. It should have gone to either Wainwright or Carpenter. They split the votes, and Lincecum won it for a 2nd straight year, but should have been a Cardinal.
But we have checked with our crack staff in the truck, and they said that the Cardinals never won that Triple Crown. And I'm surprised. I thought maybe Mr. Gibson might have done that. He did pretty much everything else.
Even his big year with the 1.12 ERA to set the major league record, and he won 22 games in that. He didn't. I think it was either Koufax or probably Marichal had more wins, I believe, than Gibby. But back then, he was 22-9 with a 1.12.
And a ton of strikeouts. He probably was close there, but Koufax will get over 300 strikeouts. First walk for Wainwright is Andre Ethier, which brings in the left-handed batting first baseman James Loney. 27 pitchers all time since 1900 have had the pitcher's Triple Crown. Lowest ERA, most wins, most strikeouts. Sandy Koufax actually did it 3 times as a Dodger. And Verlander and Kershaw both did it last year. Talk about how great pitching was in the 60s. Look sometime at Marichal. Marichal never won a Cy Young, and yet he'd have 25 wins seasons and wouldn't win. I think Koufax's career would have been over in '68 when Bob had that season. And Ricky, the interesting thing too was
Doc Bowman, longtime Cardinal trainer, did not believe in ice. And he would always use the analogy of Gibson versus Koufax and Drysdale. Pretty much in the same, started at the same time, right thereabouts, and Bob pitched so many years more not using ice, where he had elbow problems too. He can't straighten out his elbow today. But Koufax and Drysdale used ice, and in his mind that was part of the problem and why their careers were shorter than his. We'd have a whole bunch of arguments today, wouldn't you?
You sure would.
And we'd all be very, very rich if we had the ice concession for a major league team, just for the players.
Dodgers were always big on it. In fact, you play catch for 5 minutes, they'd make you ice. Just their philosophy. 1-2 to Loney. No score in the fourth.
And what the Cardinals training staff would do, they would milk the arm. If you pitch, you kind of lay on your side with your pitching arm extended.
Curveball hit hard to right. Base hit for Loney. And the Dodgers threatening here in the fourth inning. Again, every runner in scoring position is a big deal in this game when you've got the pitching of Wainwright and Kershaw, and that curveball was down in the zone, may have tumbled a bit.
That's still not a bad pitch.
Loney has hit Wainwright well.
That's why he's in the lineup. But one further thing on the milking: you lay on your side, you lift your throwing arm in the air, kind of suspend your hand from a sling, and then they just massage from the fingertips down all the way through the arm into the trunk of the body, and just try to get that blood to dissipate through the trunk of the body instead of coagulating in a joint like the elbow. That makes sense?
It sure does. I could use one of those right now. I think I have some coagulating going on right now, Al. Oh, and 1 to Rivera. Wainwright needs a double play ball. That's not it. Ball hit hard into the corner. It's going to be a ground rule double as it bounces into the stands. Could be a break for the Cardinals.
A 1-run will score, but they'll send the second runner back to third on the ground rule double. The Cardinals could not take advantage of their opportunity in the bottom of the third, and the Dodgers are taking advantage here in the fourth.
A little bit of a mislocation there by Wainwright. There's the ball hopping over the wall. Makes it a ground rule double.
So Ethier will score, and then Loney, instead of scoring, will have to go back to third base. Runners at second and third for yesterday's hero, Cruz.
Curveball is laced foul, and that one tumbling a bit too. It's not as sharp as we've seen some of the Wainwright curveballs, and really he's got to get it now, Al, because you cannot afford to have a big deficit against Kershaw.
And I went back to thinking about what you're saying, the average against his first pitch, and you see that slow breaking ball, get ahead breaking ball, but it's maybe a little too slow. Maybe you got to tighten that up a little bit. That pitch might be even better later on in the count. But a lot of get ahead breaking balls can get you in trouble, or they can get you an easy strike one. And Ricky, when we were talking to Steve Lyons, I said something, and I think you agreed with me, that we both think that his curveball was so good that at times, and there you see Steve Lyons, but sometimes we think that they throw it a little bit too much, the cutter.
Agreed. The 1-1 line drive, base hit. 1 run will score, and Rivera's held at third. 2-0 Dodgers. And this may have been one of those cutters from Wainwright.
Well, it had curveball speed, but it was still not, really didn't finish it off. Instead of going down, it's kind of sliding across a little bit. Cruz hit the 3-run home run on a hanging breaking ball yesterday, and that had a little bit of a hump in it, but sometimes you give credit to the hitters too. 3 consecutive base hits after a walk. Not good.
Now Matt Trainer. And strike 1 to him. He struck out in the 3rd inning. Wainwright has 4 strikeouts and that 1 walk that has proved very costly to him here in the 4th inning. Dodgers have already plated 2 with 3 hits and threatening for more. Possible squeeze situation here.
8th place hitter. Definitely have to consider it. There it is. Runner at 3rd. Cruz or Rivera really late in breaking, wasn't he?
Sure was.
Well, watch him right here. As he's very late.
He wasn't all sold out on that suicide squeeze.
Yeah, I mean, unless it was kind of start a little bit quicker on a safety.
Squeeze doesn't work. The 0-2 pitch. Check swing. Molina asks for help. No, says the crew chief, Jeff Kellogg. Wainwright could use a strikeout in front of Clayton Kershaw. Cardinals have managed just 1 hit. That was Daniel Descalso. Clayton Kershaw, a tough customer. Dodgers threatening for more. Rivera and Cruz the runners.
Heading the count against the 8th place hitter. You got Kershaw on deck. I'd like to think you can keep it just now, the 2-0 deficit, and battle back. What will Wainwright throw here? 2-2. Fastball in, perhaps. Move to first. And the Cardinals did the right thing, Al, having the infield in, but with Furcal tightened up a bit, that soft little liner over his head, no chance to get that. Maybe he wouldn't have had it either way. But that's the price you pay on Cruz. I don't think he would have got it, but
Cardinals shade Trainer to right in the outfield. Big gap in left center. The 2-2 is a strike on the outside corner, and there's the strikeout that Adam Wainwright needed. Just catches the outside corner.
5th strikeout. Molina was actually set up inside, and then he has to sit there and hold it and frame it right on the block down and away. Everything was good until this inning. It's now 27 pitches. Pitch count up to 63.
Ground ball up the middle for call. Behind second base, throws out Kershaw. The Dodgers strike with 2 here in the top of the 4th inning on 3 hits. 2-0 LA. Build-A-Bear Workshop Day at Busch Stadium. It's the perfect reason to watch the Cardinals play the Brewers during the 82 30th anniversary celebration weekend, Sunday, August 5th. 12,000 fans ages 15 and under with paid admission will receive a bear in honor of the 82 world champions. For tickets, visit Cardinals.com. What a beautiful look at Busch Stadium. 2-0 Dodgers. Tony West providing this fantastic shot. What a great sight that is. And we're having fun inside the stadium as well. It is a hot one once again in St. Louis.
And T. West the best. He goes out there and paints those scenes and then takes a shot of it, tries to tell you it's live.
Now, we know better than that.
He is good, though, isn't he?
He's outstanding. We don't like him very much, but he's outstanding.
I do.
He's smiling. Always in a good mood here at the ballpark. Line drive to center. Kemp has it. There's some rumors on Twitter that I saw during the half inning that Wandy Rodriguez may be on his way to Pittsburgh.
Well, we understand he's getting handshakes in the dugout, so.
And he pitched yesterday, so I can't imagine why they would do that otherwise.
Right, so there were some people that thought that Wandy would be a good fit for the Cardinals.
Carlos Beltran.
Cubs are helping out the Cardinals. They won last night at Pittsburgh. They got the nice lead, 5-1, the bottom of the ninth. And the Astros pick up a couple on Cincinnati.
Carlos Beltran having a hard time figuring out the off-speed pitches of Clayton Kershaw. He struck out in the second inning. The Cardinals need some base runners. They've only had a couple. Lance Berkman hit on a knee, then Daniel Descalso a base hit. That started out the third inning, but the Cardinals, after a sacrifice bunt for Wainwright, were not able to get a runner home. And there's another off-speed pitch, and Beltran is just being fooled by Mr. Kershaw.
Big breaking ball and swing and a miss. The Cardinals are, if anything, last season taught you not to ever give up.
Right.
But one of the bad signs this year for the Cardinals is their record against 500 and better teams. Not very good.
And in jeopardy tonight, trailing the Dodgers 2-0. to bring the 1982 World Series champions to Busch Stadium. Tune in to Fox Sports Midwest August 3rd and 4th for interviews, features, and pregame festivities celebrating the 82 World Series champs. Both those gentlemen will be on hand, Whitey Herzog and Bruce Sutter. Bruce Sutter bobblehead night will be a part of the festivities. There's Whitey here at the ballpark tonight.
It looks good, doesn't he?
Sure does.
Had the incident with the fall last season, or late last year, and recovered quickly from that, and looks like he's just gotten better and better and stronger. Can't wait to talk to Whitey.
Ozzie Smith will be on hand. 3 Hall of Famers: Smith, Sutter, Herzog.
I saw a little update on the temperature. 96 degrees right now with a heat index of still 101.
Adam Wainwright giving up 4 hits to the Dodgers. 2 runs came in the 4th inning. And it could have been worse. Able to strike out Matt Trainer with a couple runners aboard, then retire Kershaw.
Rick, I think I saw a stat that 3rd time through the order, the averages increased quite a bit against Wainwright. I think that's just a reflection of him coming back off the Tommy John.
Broken bat over the head of Descalzo. That's going to fall for a hit. Adam Wainwright has had a kind of an odd season here at home. First 5 starts, last 5 starts, 2 and 3 in both of them, but the ERA's been better. But the opposing team's batting average still high.
And the home runs he allowed early in the season at home was a big part of the difference. Still gets the least amount of run support of any of the Cardinal starters, and he's had a lot of missed plays behind him also. Not all of them have gone for errors, but mental mistakes committed behind him.
And that 2-run 4th inning broke the streak that Wainwright had going here at home against the Dodgers. He had had 17 straight scoreless innings here at Busch Stadium. Kershaw now with 19 straight scoreless innings against the Cardinals overall. Curveball, and it's a beauty. That's the Wainwright curveball, a little sharper.
It looked like he started a little bit lower in the top of it, and then it fell down below the strike zone at the end. So having that little hump and ending up around thigh high. Velocity's been down a little bit in this game, but that's, we talk about Kyle Loesch has the least amount of velocity of the Cardinal starters, and yet he knows how to use his fastball so much better than most.
Sure does.
Spot it. Fastball in. See if he can make good location.
Didn't get it in.
Nope.
Could have been a strike.
Ball there, you would think that Ellis would do you a favor and hit a little ground ball. Try and pull that pitch, hit a ground ball to short, and turn 2. Curveball.
And a swing and a miss.
Good one there. You see how it started out around the belt and then broke off the plate and down. You start that up around the letters, and then it ends up being a very hittable pitch. You start it around the belt, you get that result.
6 strikeouts now for Wainwright.
All season long, he's had the strikeouts.
Nationals lead the Mets 5-2 That game in the 9th inning. R.A. Dickey was trying to win his 14th. He's the pitcher on the losing side of that game right now. Gio Gonzalez looking to win his 13th. Nationals with a 4.5 game lead over Atlanta. Atlanta's played much better of late, although they've lost their last 3. They've gotten to just a game and a half behind Washington.
But they lost 2 of those 3 to Washington.
And the Mets in 3rd place in the East, if they lose this game, will have lost their last 5 games. And just 1 out of their last 11 have they won.
Well, Hollum beat his former team, the Pirates, and James McDonald. McDonald was 10-4, and he lost tonight to the Cubs 5-1.
And we're rooting for the Astros today too, but we don't know who they are.
Good point.
Whole bunch of new guys. If they have a big celebration at home plate, they'll be
introducing
making
themselves.
introductions. Exactly right. A big hug at home plate, and you'll be fast friends. 2-1, good pitch there. Kemp doesn't like the call.
Lucas Harold is pitching, the young man from Springfield, Missouri, who has defeated the Cardinals twice. He's pitching against Brandon Phillips with a 2-0 lead over Cincinnati.
That game in the top of the 6th. Big curveball, swing and a miss. And Kemp is retired, and he's still talking about strike 2. Or maybe he's asking whether or not that pitch was a strike.
Pulled down on the breaking ball. Swing right over the top.
And I think the answer is yes, it was a strike.
Yes, it was. Even without the swing. But I think that was also an example, Ricky, like you said, that let pitch 2 affect pitch 3 and the outcome.
It happens. Andre Ethier walked and scored in the 4th. Check swing past Wainwright. Freese is going to have to hurry. And off balance throw. He gets Ethier. Nice play on the move by the Cardinal 3rd baseman. And he is an all-star. Cardinals need to bring the lumber. Cardinals have gotten very good defensive play from David Freese. This one down the line, robs a hit, then over the shoulder, going backwards, now going to, no, not that one. He's not going to his left yet. That's a hard hit shot. Now he goes to his left and throws out Andre Ethier. Kershaw and Yadier Molina will begin the 5th inning. Molina struck out in the 2nd. Kershaw has 3 of those. And there's the slider that we were told is really an improved pitch of late with Kershaw.
As if he needed any more weapons, but to pitch earlier in the season, he didn't have it consistently working.
Line drive pulled foul. Molina hit that ball hard down the line. And a Dodger fan had a chance to make that play and he booted it. It happens.
On occasion.
You think catching a baseball is easy? Talk to this gentleman right here. Ouch.
Is he trying to hurt his girlfriend or protect her?
I hope they gave him the baseball. That's what we do in the Midwest. Guy gets hit in the jaw with a line drive, you give him the baseball. It's only fair. Dodgers have beaten the Cardinals 8 straight times. 4-0 this year. A sweep in LA. They won game 1 here last night. Cardinals will have 2 more shots at them before the Dodgers head west.
Funny way, last year's late August sweep by the Dodgers here in St. Louis was lucky, because right after that the Cardinals regrouped and went on their winning ways and overcame the 10.5 game deficit in the wild card.
Ground ball to third. Hairston, Coloni. Hey, moms and dads, don't miss the final Cardinals Alumni Kids Clinics of the 2012 season, coming to Chesterfield on July 31st and August 2nd. Those always sell out. Always a bunch of young people there. Boys and girls ages 7 and 13 can learn baseball fundamentals from former Cardinal greats. For more info, visit cardinals.com/clinics. And I know, Al, the clinic this week in Highland, Illinois, and we have a ton of friends there in Highland. 150 have signed up for that. They just not sure they have enough room for everybody. So those clinics just continue to do a great job. Scott Terry runs those. Former Cardinal players participate.
Talking about this marquee pitching match here. What about the one, in New York? Gio Gonzalez won. He's now a 13-game winner, and he defeated R.A. Dickey, who when he lost for the 2nd time, he's 13-2. So Gonzalez 13-5, Dickey 13-2.
Now that's what moms do. They take care of others. Matt Carpenter entered the game for Lance Berkman after Berkman was hit on the right knee. Tough assignment here, Carpenter against Kershaw. But he he's battled. You look among the league leaders for rookies in RBIs, batting average, triples. Carpenter's name is up there. He is in the top 5 in a lot of categories. Been very productive in his limited playing time. Hard hit to center. Kemp's been busy.
Kershaw making it look easy. Shut out the Cardinals in Los Angeles earlier this year. Only allowed 1 hit. That was off the bat of Descalzo. Here he is batting again.
Descalzo got the start on Sunday at shortstop. Second base here tonight. We've seen him play third. He's played some first base. And we believe he is the emergency catcher as well. Well, there was a time last year that Tony La Russa had him as the emergency catcher, and he told us that he was the emergency catcher. And we asked Daniel, and he said, "Not that I know of."
Well, yes, you are.
Well, let us be the first ones to break it to you.
Yeah, if he throws a chest protector at your way, put it on.
Another line drive to center. How about that? 0-2 pitch. And Descalzo's 2 for 2. Toughest lefty in the league, and Descalzo having a good night.
Cutter, the slider up over the middle of the plate. He got a level swing on it, hit it to center like his first hit. Had him go back to thinking you're a hitter.
We know he's done it. 5 career home runs, batting average over 200 in his career. Struggling a bit with the bat this year, just 0.79. Still looking for his first RBI, but he's capable of running into one and tying this game up. I'm not predicting it. I'm just saying it could happen.
Gotta be careful with Kershaw's move. He's picked off 6 runners.
That ball hit hard in the gap, left center field, and it's down and to the wall. Here comes Descalzo. The Cardinals are on the board. RBI double, Adam Wainwright.
His first RBI of the season. Cuts the lead in half, and feel like you're back in a ball game. You're trailing 2-0, but you felt like it was 10-0. Good to see Adam Wainwright and Descalzo do the job here with 2 outs. 2 outs. Kind of had a little stutter step at third base, but didn't affect the play at all.
A looper into center, and it's going to drop. Here comes Wainwright. Camp has it. The throw home. It's cut off, and the Cardinals have tied it here in the 5th.
Nice going, Adam Wainwright. Helped his own cause. Then for Kyle, pads it with his 39th RBI. Oh, flare out there, just muscled over the infield. Kemp had to come in so aggressively, couldn't have anything on the throw. Knew it was going to fall in there, but you see throwing on the run, and even Wainwright comes on home with a tying run. Honeycutt out to visit Kershaw. bring in the entire infield for whatever reason.
39 RBIs now for Rafael Furcal. Pitch count, Kershaw. 20 pitches already here in the 5th inning, and I'm with you, Al. 2-0 just seemed like a big lead against Kershaw, and all of a sudden Wainwright gets that hit, and entirely different story.
Well, we talked about it, you know, that he's such a good athlete and could help his own cause swinging the bat prior to this season. And for whatever reason, just didn't look like the same hitter, but that looked like the Wainwright of old.
So Kershaw's string of scoreless innings against the Cardinals has now come to a close.
19 2/3.
19 2/3 it is. Fastball right down central to Alan Craig, who's bounced out to the shortstop twice. So the Cardinals have made this a game here in the 5th inning. The Dodgers scored 2 in the 4th, but Adam Wainwright has helped his own cause here in the 5th.
Adam was talking about after the tough road trip, 1-5 trip. Could have won all 6, could have lost all 6, but talk about the sense of urgency. All the players commenting that they know this is a very good ball club, just haven't played to their abilities. Call playing games there with Kershaw. Knows he's got a good move, but kind of tempting him to throw. Spend a little more attention to the runner at first base and you make a mistake at the plate.
And I still don't quite understand why Rick Honeycutt brought everybody into the infield. I'm still pondering that, whether it's something to do with the signs or.
But your first baseman, that was the last one, and he specifically called Lonio.
Got me. Honeycutt's a friendly guy. Maybe just wanted to have a nice meeting with everybody.
Talk about where they're going to dinner.
Could be.
Tommy Lasorda was here. We know it'd be Charlie Judos.
Yes, we would.
And we know that Charlie would pick up the bill.
That's a fact. Broken bat to third base. Off balance throw, and it gets Craig. Everybody okay with the broken bat, thankfully. But a big inning for St. Louis. Daniel Descalzo scoring one of the 2 Cardinal runs. This game is tied. Trivia question: who holds the longest scoreless inning streak versus the Cardinals since 1974? Kershaw's was broken here tonight at 19, and the answer:
Jim Barr.
Would not have thought of that. Jim Barr pitched with the Giants, 31 2/3 innings.
I remember that now.
Right-hander.
Right-hander, big burly right-hander. Giants. There's Honeycutt. He spent a little time here in the early days of Tony La Russa era, and you knew he was going to be a future pitching coach.
No question about that. Curveball, strike one to Loney.
You know, Ricky, when I first got into baseball, it was a no-no to ever consider a left-hander to be a pitching coach.
I don't think I never heard that. They just don't understand us, or what?
I don't know. Just thought we thought the right way.
Base hit up the middle for James Loney. That's his second hit against Wainwright. He continues to hit Adam well. 400 coming into play, and he's 2 for 3 here tonight.
And if this has to be Adams' last inning, you really have to bear down and put up a 0 after your teammates. And of course, he was a big part of the getting this game tied. But you really got to bow your neck and use everything, every bit of your energy, just to put up a 0 this frame.
Wainwright at 82 pitches. Hard hit to right. Craig on the move, and he makes the play over his shoulder. And about a one-pitch double play, and let Wainwright pitch one more.
I love it. You know, you said something before, as you see Alan Craig went back on this ball, just a line drive, tough right at you, can't judge it, the height of it, but stayed very calm with that ball, reached up the last second, hauled it in. But you said you had a pleasure of one day in the Dodger camp, somebody was going to work with a breaking ball with you.
Unbelievable. Ron Peronowski was a pitching coach
Another
for Tommy.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, another left-hander.
Another
by the
left-hander
way.
too.
And he said, you know, we got a guy we really want to work with a curveball. We know that you threw a curveball in college and in high school, and our scouts said that Tim Thompson, who was a Cardinal and a Dodger
Timmy, yeah.
scout, said that we should try to teach you a curveball. So he and Tommy Lasorda, another left-handed pitcher, brought me over to a mound and said, we've got a guy we want to work with you, and his name is Sandy Koufax. So I actually spent a day trying to figure out how to throw a curveball with Sandy Koufax. Talk about an unbelievable experience. And Sandy, for anybody who's been around the Dodgers and been around him, as nice a gentleman as you're ever going to meet.
Legendary.
Unbelievable how gracious and kind and thoughtful he was. And I'm just thankful I had a chance to get to know him a bit and work with him some. And I will say it was kind of nerve-wracking, though.
And my comparison to that would be a little bit different and not as unique an experience. But first Instructional League, went down there, and Warren Spahn was the AAA manager of the Cardinals, and he was coming in for a couple weeks, and I'm thinking, boy, I get to work with the winningest left-hander in Major League history.
The best,
363
right?
Wins, and so does, and all he wanted to work with me was my pickoff move. And I said, Mr. Spahn, I think that's a very important part of the game, but I'd like to learn how to keep the guy from getting to first base.
That's reasonable. There goes the runner. Ground ball to second. Quick flip to the bag. Gets him there. On to first. You bet. How about that double play? Very nifty. Descalzo takes a chance, and the Cardinals turn it 4-6-3, and Wainwright is through 6. Very good defense. Nice play by Furcal. have some of our good friends at Budweiser here at the ballpark tonight. What's on tap? Always brought to you by Budweiser. Tomorrow, the Dodgers and the Cardinals again at 6:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. Kyle Loesch and Aaron Harang are the pitchers.
Very important to win this ball game, and then not that Harang and Capuano are going to be easy, but the Cardinals have a lot of experience facing them. Two former pitchers from the National League Central, and the way Kyle Loesch is pitching, you take him anytime.
Been terrific.
Got 10 wins, and very easily he could be right there 13 with the rest of the league leaders.
A couple more breaks and you could make a case that Kyle Loesch should have been an all-star. If he wins 2 or 3 more games.
Like I said, he probably should have 3 more wins. And
but
then he'd be right there with.
Puts him up in the top 5 or 6 earned run average, all that. Leadoff walk to Matt Holliday. He hustles down to first base. So the Cardinals maybe chance to add on here in the 6th inning. They got back in this game in the 5th. Thanks to the bat of Adam Wainwright and others.
Kershaw knows that Holliday is hitting very well and everything, and Beltran is not. So don't make a mistake to Holliday, and you think he can recover against Beltran.
He's had Beltran in between. Hitters like to talk about being in between, Al, in terms of the fastball and the changeup and the off-speed pitches. They're either late on the fastball, way ahead of the off-speed pitches, and Beltran just doesn't quite have the timing down yet on Kershaw.
The art of pitching is to do that to a hitter.
Right.
Beltran tied for the league lead in RBIs. He's had 22 home runs in the top 3.
Beltran had a bounce back year a year ago, but this year it's even been better. His numbers much better with less plate appearances.
See, home runs equal last year's total and almost 200 fewer bats. And those RBIs won't take him long to overcome last year's 84.
Leads the National League with 71.
Tyler Kubel, who has been on just a tear the last week, 10 days, in home runs and RBIs.
Ball hit hard to left towards the line, and it's fair. And into the corner. Holliday will be held at third. And Carlos Beltran not in between anymore.
Always respect the hitter. Don't walk somebody in front thinking you can get the next guy out and get your outs. And especially remember when you're around that 80 pitch mark, you don't have the same command that you do early in the game. And they also have a little better read on you. You know, Kershaw can be very tough even with 2 men in scoring position.
That could be a big hit in this ball game. Carlos Beltran doubles into the corner. He and Holliday aboard for David Freese, who's bounced out twice. Ground ball up the middle. Base hit, Freese. Holliday scores. The Cardinals take the lead.
Beltran's ball fair or foul? Definitely fair. And then now this ball up here, I think Beltran thought the shortstop was going to get to it, playing a little more in the hole, expecting Freese to pull it, and ball up the middle. Holliday scored, but Beltran only went 90 feet. Now it's up to Molina to drive him in.
Very impressive what the Cardinals are doing offensively against one of the game's best in Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw just 7-5 on the season But his earned run average, 6th in the National League at 2.74. And he is struggling here in the middle innings.
Gone all the way up to 2.77.
I'd take him, let's put it that way. Kershaw looks a little agitated.
Only 24 years of age. Phenomenal season a year ago. And they're just not scoring many runs for their pitching staff.
Molina has been so good with runners in scoring position. 352 on the season. And the Cardinals could use him to come through here. Beltran, the runner at third. Nobody out. In the dirt. Nice play by Trainer.
Well, behind the count, 2-0 just makes Yadier that much more dangerous.
The Cardinals have really struggled to win close games this year. Lost a lot of one-run games. They've lost a lot of two-run games. An opportunity here tonight to pull out a close one.
And there's at times that has been a deceptive stat because a lot of times they had late inning comebacks, got close but couldn't pull through. At times that stat is a reflection of your bullpen, but can't really say that much anymore. First time since the All-Star break, the bullpen had a bad inning in last night's game, and in the 7th inning they gave up the 2 runs that ended up being the difference in the game.
Lindblom, the right-hander, gets loose for LA. Good swing by Molina, and he just missed that. Fouls it straight back. Crowd very excited here in the Cardinals' 6th inning, hoping for more.
And Molina just slightly towards right field with the center fielder. A little more room, but it just looks like the outfielders are deep and a lot of gap room.
Curveball high, and Kershaw having a hard time finishing his breaking ball in this inning.
Yep.
Just casting it up high in the strike zone and not pulling it down. And the Cardinals may be eliminating that pitch from concern right now, just swinging at his fastball. Full count now to Molina. Do you run David Freese here?
Yadier is striking out a little bit more than what we're accustomed to seeing him. Not hitting into as many double play balls either. Trainer not the greatest thrower, so I have no problem sending him.
There he goes. Swing and a miss. Molina strikes out. Freese steals second.
Second of the season, stolen base for Freese, and a big strikeout when Kershaw needed it.
Looked like that was a curveball too from Kershaw. Didn't give in.
No,
give him credit.
Finish it off, but like you say, the pitch before looked like he finished it almost at eye level, and this time he came down and pulled it through. Maybe you were teaching Yachty how to hit there because you told him to give up on the curveball.
Don't listen to me, Yachty.
I don't think he was.
Whatever you're doing, just stay right there.
Just because he couldn't hear you, Rick.
Yes,
wasn't that he wouldn't want to listen
I
to
know. Well, I would be smart enough not to tell Yachty or Molina anything about hitting. Leave that up to Mr. McGuire and Mr. Mabry, and even they will pick their spots with a veteran like Molina who knows what he's doing. big runs out there. Beltran at third. Freeze at second.
It's the key at bat, though. At the very least, you got to get one more run this inning. As deep as the outfield is, the ball hit to the outfield, you got 2 runs.
The Dodgers defensively not playing in with their middle infielders. Now Ellis takes a few more steps in. This ball is popped up. Shallow left field. Play is made. Throw comes in, not deep enough to score Beltran. So 2 outs. And it'll be Descalzo's turn this week on Fox Saturday Baseball. The Red Sox head to the Bronx to take on the AL East leading Yankees. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Budweiser begins at 2:30 only on Fox.
Descalzo, who is the only left-handed bat in the lineup to start this game. First time he faced Kershaw, and they don't want any part of him. They're going to attempt past him. Nobody warming up for the Cardinals. That's interesting. Not anticipating that Mike Matheny might have to pinch hit for Wainwright.
Wainwright's pitch count at 87.
But how many times are you going to get a shot like this? Wainwright did get the big hit last inning, but would have been interesting to see if you had a pitcher warmed up just in case.
Cardinals only have left-handed bats of John Jay and Skip Schumacher on the bench, and the right-handed duo of Tony Cruz and Tyler Green. We'll see how this move turns out. Matheny elects to stay with Adam Wainwright. Perhaps he earned it with his double in the 5th, as you said, Al. Chance for more RBIs for him. This would be a big miss if the Cardinals only tally 1 here in the 6th inning.
He said that Wainwright has got the least run support of all the starters. He got himself a run, and if this game stayed as it is, he would have the game-winning hit. I wouldn't, thinking we were down 2-0, but
well, you would have the game's biggest hit. That's
biggest
for sure.
hit. Call tied it up before David Freese drove in the go-ahead run this inning. And he's fallen behind 2-0.
Kershaw looks worn out to me on the mound. Very gifted athlete, outstanding pitcher. He is working hard here in the 6th inning. Temperature still in the mid to high 90s here at Busch Stadium.
That's when you just kind of revert back to a closer mentality and say, I got to close out this inning. Probably going to be his last inning of work. He's due up second because of extreme heat. And now it's 3-1 with 2 outs. Bases loaded.
Got to let him take here. You agree?
I have no problem with that.
The 3-1 to Wainwright is ball 4. The walk from Clayton Kershaw extends the Cardinals' lead to 4-2. And the good eyes say his teammates of Adam Wainwright.
2 RBIs for Wainwright tonight. And that'll be it. Kershaw here in the 6th inning, maybe the heat. That's tough for clubs in the West Coast to come into the Midwest to play with this kind of heat right now. Might have taken a toll.
Cardinals get to Kershaw in the 5th with 2, and now the 6th with 2. Hoping for more. We'll be back after this. For call will take his turn with the bases loaded, and the Dodgers have decided to stay with Clayton Kershaw. We thought we saw the move to the bullpen.
Surprised with that?
I'm very surprised.
Don Mattingly might have just said, okay, you're my ace. I have confidence in you. Just regroup. Let's get us back in the dugout. Call was 0 for 9 against Kershaw before getting his hit last time up. An RBI single in the 5th. Thrown 100 pitches.
So Kershaw gets one more batter. And he's 0-2 on for call.
Rick, in the days of the Astros playing in the Dome, the Astrodome, their pitchers, in preparing for a road trip, would start running outside to get accustomed to the heat. And of course, down in Houston, you'd get accustomed to the heat real quick.
I'll say. The 0-2. Low.
And not that it doesn't get hot in Southern California, because it does, but it's a different kind of heat than what we're experiencing right now.
Generally cool at night.
Very
at
cool
Dodger Stadium.
Love to pitch, in California in the nighttime, because you come from you come from the Midwest, and you just felt like you stayed fresh, felt strong all game long. Couldn't wear out because of the heat.
That pitch almost hit for call. That brings Trainer out to the mound, and you look at Kershaw just facially, and just kind of has this sense of being a guy that's a bit overheated and worn out. He's thrown a ton of pitches in the last 2 innings, and there's a good look at that. 52 pitches in the last 2 innings, and it's not always the total pitch. It's how many you have in that particular inning. You're standing out there a very, very long time.
You got your outfielders, infielders that are out there for a long time, kind of standing around. 3 walks in this inning.
The 2-2 is ball 3. That was a close one.
Yes, it was. I'm sure Kershaw wanted that pitch.
Kershaw not happy at all. He thought that was strike 3.
And looks like a good call inside. And right now, the most exciting play in baseball. The merry-go-round.
Everybody's going to be moving, even Al Roboski. The 3-2. Ground ball up the middle, and it's a base hit. One Cardinal run scores. Here comes another. And the throw hits the top of the mound, and Descalzo scores from second.
How about that? But because it was a 3-2 pitch, 2 outs, the runners are going. The ball stays on the infield. Ellis makes a great stop, keeps it on the infield, but Descalzo could still score from second base because it was a 3-2 and he's running. Look at the lead Descalzo has. Ball gets stopped right there, foot in the outfield. He was already past third base and come home without a play. And now Mattingly will make the move.
We're sure this time Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible, and by Ford, the official vehicles of the Cardinals. Mid-America Chevy dealers call to the bullpen the right-hander Josh Lindboom.
He is from Lafayette, Indiana, a hard thrower, having a good season, as he's been pretty good at not allowing inherited runners to score. Only 4 of 14. Opponents are only batting .226 against him.
Hard hit to right center, and this ball is down. The Cardinals are going to score at least one more. Wainwright scores, and here comes Furcal. 8-2 St. Louis.
All 6 of these runs are charged to Kershaw. So he might have had 19 2/3 innings of scoreless against the Cardinals, but they broke through in the last 2 innings with 8 runs. And Alan Craig, once again, the RBI machine, plugs the gap out in right center, drives in 2 more. That is 49 RBIs for Craig, and Furcal scores all the way from first base.
Now Matt Holliday. Fastball up and in, backs him off the plate. Breaking ball, strike 1 to Holliday. Matt led this inning off with a walk against Kershaw, and those walks will kill you. Things just caved in on Clayton Kershaw here tonight. Five and 2/3 innings for Kershaw. 7 Cardinal hits, 8 runs. That is a half season worth of runs against Kershaw. Well, maybe a month.
It's a bunch.
105 pitches.
And Bloom had been pretty good at retiring the first batter. First batters were only batting .231 against him. And Alan Craig made him pay, and 2 more runs charged to Kershaw.
Wainwright helped his own cause again.
Sure did.
With the bases loaded walk.
I think he made the right move, letting him hit for himself. Paid off. Got his second RBI, and then Furcal and Craig have followed with RBI base hits. Time for Holliday, who he had that 15-game hitting streak stopped, and he started 4 more right afterwards. He's been on a tear since May.
Late swing. Holliday strikes out. Breaks his bat. Things have really gone the Cardinals' way since the double play that was turned in the top of the 6th for Call. Very artistic. Then all kinds of offense. Beltran with a double and plenty of hits to follow. 8-2 St. Louis. take on the Brewers. 25,000 fans ages 16 and older receive a one-of-a-kind replica ticket from Game 7 of the 82 World Series. Tickets.com. More information about the 1982 World Series Champions Reunion Weekend. You can go to Cardinals.com/promotions. Adam Wainwright working in the 7th. Trainer flies out. Our starters comparison through 6 innings. Adam Wainwright has bested one of the game's best.
And we knew this was going to be a good pitching matchup. The biggest difference you see, the 3 walks by Kershaw, just 1 by Wainwright. It was the 3 walks all came in an inning when the Cardinals had 4 hits. And scored 6 runs. So Adam Wainwright is very determined, facing Kennedy here, the pinch hitter.
Adam Kennedy swung the bat well of late. Former Cardinal, originally drafted by the Cardinals, and he takes a good Wainwright curveball, and that's gotten sharper. 0-2. Cardinals had signed Brian Fuentes, and according to B.J. Raines, Fuentes had a 1-2-3 inning for Springfield.
Kennedy might have hurt himself, and one of the Dodger trainers out to pay attention. Now Mattingly following. Adams hit very well against the Cardinals, his former team. He started as a Cardinal farmhand, got to the big leagues with the Redbirds, and was involved in a very positive trade as he was part of the swap that went for Jim Edmonds.
He didn't get hurt that badly.
Continues to hit well against St. Louis.
Sure does. So Brian Fuentes had a 1-2-3 inning for Springfield tonight, including 2 strikeouts.
And he has to come to the big league club before July 31st, or he can opt out of his minor league contract. And I think everything is on page that Fuentes, who was a premier closer not that long ago, and Cardinals thought about him as when he was a free agent.
We mentioned earlier that the Pirates got better. They picked up Wandy Rodriguez today from the Astros for Rudy Owens, Colton Kane, and Robbie Grossman.
Household names.
Well, we might get to meet them in Houston.
Just like all the rest of the Houston players now.
It's become an even better rotation for the Pirates. Good curveball again from Wainwright, and that pitch just keeps getting better and better. We've seen other games this year that Wainwright's strikeout pitch, particularly his curveball, has gotten better as the game progresses.
That's not surprising to us.
No.
Game goes along, you get a better feel for the release point. You can repeat that delivery.
Jerry Hairston Jr. already has 2 hits against Wainwright tonight.
Zepchinski is warming up. I think that's for Ethier and Loney. And I don't think Adams going to let it go that far.
But warming up for them either way, if not this inning, then next.
Sean Tolleson going to be the next pitcher for the Dodgers.
Ground ball to short for call. To second for 1. On to first. Another Cardinal double play. Wainwright doing a very nice job. So are the middle infielders. Chevy dealers called to the bullpen. The right-hander is Sean Tollison. Dodgers bullpen has been very good this year. Outstanding, in fact. Tollison, ERA 5.9. Will have the Cardinals 7th. 8 runs for the Cardinals in the 5th and 6th innings against Clayton Kershaw. Did not see that coming. Kershaw was just rolling along, and he finally blew a tire in the 5th inning. Adam Wainwright had a big hit in that inning, and he also drew a bases loaded walk in the 6th. Wainwright looking like he's still in this game. You think that's possible?
Apparently. As nobody warming up right now, so they're going to extend him.
Very good 7th.
We always talk about it. The Cardinal starters go 7 innings. Everything falls into place for a victory. But obviously, if you could go a little deeper in the game, all the better.
Well, with the score of 8-2 and it being 102 degrees and Wainwright being at close to 100 pitches, I'm going to say I'm surprised. Beltran bounces out. The Krispy Kreme dozen deal. If you're St. Louis Cardinals, get 9 hits today. And we're pretty close. You're invited into Krispy Kreme tomorrow to receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for only $3.99. Stop by one of the 4 St. Louis area Krispy Kremes for this sensational deal. One more hit. Come on, let's go. At the Krispy Kreme.
I think we haven't really talked about it, but you know, with Strasburg coming off of Tommy John, they're talking about not a fixed number, but it was around 160, 170 innings. They were going to limit him. What do you do with an Adam Wainwright? He's at 123 innings. You still consider him to, you know, treat him with kid gloves.
Well, one of the things that Adam says in response to that is he would prefer, and he's been doing it all season long, to limit what he does between starts. Instead of throwing a long bullpen the day after a start, he may throw one, then skip a couple, and just throw less in between starts, and that's how he finds that he can reduce his workload and still stay sharp.
And that's great if you can do it. Not everyone can do it.
I would agree.
He's one that can.
Most guys need it for the tune-up.
But I think we all, as pitchers, know that once you get past 80 pitches or so, you're really stretched out. That's when damage can happen. You're throwing 7 innings in this kind of heat, like you've talked about.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if he goes out for the 8th. I'll be surprised.
And it may be, and I think, well, we have to believe that he probably is, and it may be the fact that they've said, okay, you go out there and you get 1 base runner, we take you out.
Or you go out and pitch to the right-handers, and we'll let Zepchinski come on and face the lefties, Ethier and Loney. But again, you're sending him back out there. He's got to warm up. He's got to throw some more. He's got to work the 2 hitters.
And I'm sure they're talking about all those scenarios. But I'm also one of the belief, if you have any reliever in that bullpen that you can't trust with a 6-run lead, then he shouldn't be on your staff.
Talking about Strasburg and his innings, I found that very curious. Around the All-Star break, they asked him if he had a innings maximum, and he said no. But his general manager said yes. And they said, well, if I have an innings maximum, nobody's told me. And the reporter said, well, I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, I mean, they talked about it at spring training. It was like 160.
Well, he doesn't know that.
And then as the game, the general manager talked about it. As the season has gone on and they're in first place, Davey Johnson's saying he don't have one.
Understandably so.
And Strasburg, you know, you're being a great competitor and, you know, saying, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to hurt our season and do something that would jeopardize the magic that's going on in Nationals. And that's where John Smoltz came up with the idea. Is like, well, fake an injury now. Fake an injury for 2 or 3 weeks, and then you can get through the season, and you'd still have that 170 pitches or innings or something of that nature.
You're going to want
I'd rather do that than miss the pennant race.
Going to be an odd scenario for the Nationals, to be sure. Tough play is made by the left fielder Rivera. Let's go to Pat Paris in our studio with a Bomberito Sports Update. Pat?
All right, Dickey, 13 and 2. And then Gonzalez wins his 13th game.
Strike one to Mark Ellis. Jammed. Molina can't make the play. Good effort, and it looks like he may have banged his knee into the wall there. Good effort by Yachty. Seems to be okay.
A little upset with himself. 4-time Gold Glove winner. Had that ball in his glove, but that wall was approaching quickly and pops out. So gives chase. Yachty gets over there. And then that low wall digs that right knee right around the plaque. So that's not padding.
Rafael Furcal is our Schnucks difference maker tonight. He's 2 for 4, a couple of singles, 3 RBIs, big ones, and a run scored. That Yachty play, you could hear everybody telling him where it was. Yachty trying to get it, then get it again. and face first into the netting.
And going full speed and that low wall, you just go right over the top of it, and his looked like his right knee hit the wall first and right around that little birds on the bat plaque. So it's brick, and then that is plaster, so not padded.
Drew Stubbs with a 2-run home run in Houston. The Reds take the lead 3-2 against Francisco Cordero, the new closer.
Former Reds closer, and now
for the Astros.
New closer for the Astros. Just got traded over the weekend.
Watch out. The ball, did it hit him?
Well, it glanced him, but I was going to say, how did it miss him? It didn't.
Is it possible that this is it for Adam Wainwright as he hits Matt Kemp?
Just got the jersey, and Mike Matheny walking out slowly. Has not made a call yet. Obviously now he does, to bring in the left-hander Zepchinski. What a job by Wainwright.
Outstanding performance for Adam Wainwright. Zepchinski coming in. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buzz. And by Taco Bell. Live Moss. 8-2 St. Louis. Adam Wainwright receiving a very nice round of applause as he left the mound just moments ago. A strong 7 in the third innings, just 7 hits.
Outstanding. This kind of heat to go out there and battle. He also had did a job at the plate, a sacrifice, a base hit, an RBI, a base loaded walk, another RBI. Zepchinski takes over. He's been perfect in July. He's got 13 holds on the season. Everything is so much more sharp. The breaking ball, the slider, pitching ahead in the count. That's been the real key. Still a very high ERA. And the strikeouts are way down from a year ago when he had a career high in strikeouts.
But going in the right direction.
Very much so.
Facing Andre Ethier. And really, this is where Zepchinski made his mark a year ago, is facing tough left-handed hitters. He was pitching with Toronto in the American League East, and you think about the guys he was facing there, and The talk in the American League was there wasn't anybody better at getting lefties out than Mark Zepchinski. Ground ball to second. High throw. And Kemp doesn't see it, and now the late jump, he gets to third base. Daniel Descalzo with the error. And Kemp to third.
Rare error for Descalzo, who is so steady. And throwing off balance, high trajectory. Carpenter tried to stay, stretch up there and be able to come back down on the bag, but couldn't catch it.
Almost appeared that Descalzo didn't have a good grip on that baseball. The ball just floated out of his hand. It happens.
Yeah, and kind of a do or die play. Had to come in on the ball, throwing on the run.
Cardinals with 2 errors on the night, Berkman and Descalzo. But they lead in the all-important column. The one with an R. 8-2 St. Louis. Ground ball to first, stepping on the bag, throwing to second, tag play there, and he's out, and the run did not cross home plate. Double play turned again by St. Louis. Telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. 8-2 St. Louis. Cardinals have a couple of errors. They've out-hit the Dodgers. Dodgers go to the bullpen again. Javi Guerra was their closer earlier in this season. It is now Kenley Jansen, who we saw here last night. Our Nissan drive of the game, and we're going to go with Carlos Beltran, what he was able to do in the 6th inning.
Just down the left field line, just fair into the corner, and a big base hit at the time. That's our Nissan drive of the game.
Guerra will face Descalzo. Pinch hitter for Zepchinski. First pitch, popped into right. Out number 1. So Zepchinski got a ground ball and then another ground ball. In fact, the Dodgers really, with a little bit better base running, would have scored a run in the top of the 8th inning. Kemp was kind of slow coming home. It was a tag play at second base. Ethier could have gotten in a rundown, and it could be 8-3 St. Louis, but maybe insignificant, maybe not.
I know Kemp's had the 2 stints on the disabled list with the hamstring, but and with the score 8-2, he's been replaced by Tony Gwynn in center field. Uribe playing third.
Line drive right to the third baseman, Uribe. Gwynn in center, Uribe at third. Hairston is now moved to left. And Rivera's moved from left to right. Plenty of changes for the Dodgers. And to explain that play further, once Carpenter stepped on the bag, Al, everything's no longer a forced play. They're tag plays, and if the run would have crossed home plate before the runner was tagged at second, it would have counted.
Scores. Like Mitchell Boggs going to get a chance to close this game out.
Haven't really seen much of him lately.
Well, good opportunity. He's our 8th inning man, but 8th inning man with a close game, and give him a shot at getting those handshakes in the 9th after a Cardinal victory.
Call's had a couple of very big hits in this game. 3 RBIs, a single in the 5th, a single in the 6th.
It was 0 for 9 off of Kershaw. And then those 2 big base hits that you talked about.
Hey, Cardinal fans want the donut deal. Let's go. We need 9, right?
We get 9 runs before we get 9 hits. Get them both at the same time.
Just want the donuts, Al. I don't care about the runs and the hits right now. I want the donuts. Krispy Kreme. We appreciate their connection to Cardinal baseball. 2-2 to Furcal. Actually 3-2. And the 2-out walk brings in Alan Craig.
Still just continues to drive in runs. 9 RBIs in 56 games. And he took a few games off. He was ahead of his pace of RBIs per game played.
(8-2) St. Louis, game 2 of the 4-game series. Started out as an outstanding pitcher's duel in the early going. 6 zeros on the scoreboard. Dodgers struck with 2 in the 4th inning, and they've not scored since, but the Cardinals got to Kershaw in the 5th and then big time in the 6th.
We talked about there in the 4th inning when the Cardinals were down 2-0. It felt like 10-0.
You wonder how it feels right now to the Dodgers.
Hopeless.
3-0 to Craig. Garrett doesn't know where that is. Puts his hands out as if to say, what do I have to do? 3-0. Not happy with the home plate umpire, DJ Rayburn. Maybe it'll be Matt Holliday to get us some donuts. Kyle Loesch and Aaron Harang will pitch game 3. Then Jake Westbrook and Chris Capuano. The final game of the homestand on Thursday. Cardinals began the homestand with a sweep of the Cubs. The Cardinals, after finishing with the Dodgers, will head to Chicago, then on to Colorado.
Dodgers know all about the explosive bat of Matt Holliday. They saw enough of him when he was with Colorado. Always big numbers.
Couldn't hold up. 0-2.
0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored tonight, but trying to extend his hitting streak to 5 games. I believe that would be 20 out of 21 if he can pick up another hit.
Ground ball to left side. Tough play by Uribe, but he throws out Matt Holliday. So you're going to have to pay full price for donuts tomorrow. Here comes Mitchell Boggs. Cardinals live post-game show. Pat Paris and Cal Eldred will be breaking this game down. They do a great job of that, and plenty to talk about. Cardinals and the Dodgers game 2, and Mitchell Boggs will try to finish it off here in the 9th inning. John Jay moves to center field, and Carlos Beltran from center to right.
Alan Craig is out in left field.
And Boggs with a good fastball to Juan Rivera.
Big victory for the Cardinals if they can pull this one out.
Rivera, Cruz, and Trainer, you bet.
Had the dominant game and series against the Cubbies. Then things looked so familiar in last night's ball game in the wrong way. But to come back here against one of the best pitchers in baseball, Kershaw, and convincingly knock him out, scoring all 8 runs. And you're back to doing something special.
What a jam shot that is. Freeze has it. Rivera retired. This is deep into the kitchen right here. This is almost into the living room.
Throws hard. He's got a sinking action, but this one just in on the hands at 97. Thought Mike Matheny and Derek Lilquist did a great job from day one of spring training, just pumping up Mitchell Boggs, talking about how important he was going to be to their bullpen. He had to rebuild his psyche a little bit.
I remember a couple of turning points early in the season, too, when Mitchell Boggs had a couple of shaky outings. Mike Matheny did not quit on him, and he kept putting him out there and said, look, you're the guy. And 1 or 2 outings is not going to change my opinion about that. You are the guy.
Yeah, and we've seen him do that with some of the position players, but he didn't respond like Boggs did.
Hard hit to right. Beltran flags it down. Our player of the game, brought to you by Budweiser. Not a hard choice. Adam Wainwright, 7 1/3, solid innings. He is in line for his 8th victory, 74th career victory. If Mitchell Boggs can get this last guy, and it's Matt Trainer.
And how big will it be if Boggs just has this real quick and efficient inning? It's only, what is 6 pitch? 1 ball, 5 strikes.
Have him fresh for tomorrow.
That's it. That's what it, you want to bring him in here and get the final inning, but more importantly, you want to do it in such quick fashion that it doesn't interrupt your normal schedule of having him pitch the 8th tomorrow.
2 strikes on Trainer.
Cardinals won 7 straight against the Dodgers. Then the Dodgers have won 8 straight to answer. Maybe the Cardinals will go on a long winning streak again. Have to wait till next year, though. Well, we play them again one more time out in L.A.
Out in L.A., correct.
It was rare 2 times to a Western Division club. In 1951, they won 14 straight games.
Swing and a miss. Mitchell Boggs ends it. And the Cardinals beat the Dodgers in Game 2, 8-2, behind Adam Wainwright.
Outstanding all-around game. Offense took a little while to get going, and Adam and Zepchinski were able to pitch around a couple errors, but a real big win against a tough opponent, not only Kershaw, but the Dodgers in general.
Don't go away. The Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live postgame show is coming up next.